Instead, he resorting to Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and one and two statements that he pelt out now and again. He has met the international media more than meeting the local press in this country. Is this the right way a leader should manage and run the affairs of a country? Auntie? Huh? You guys tell me. Is this why you're staying on your fingers for? Silence with your bread and butter and that of your future? I'm just asking. As for his ministers, hardly ever they hold press conferences to talk to this nation as to what is going on within their ministries. Vikram Bharat, who holds the portfolio of natural resources, in charge of the gold, the diamond, the bauxite, the timber, and now the oil sector. Like President Ali, he has never held a press conference to date. He does not even respond to emails or messages sent to him. And like President Ali, whenever he goes anywhere to deliver a message, as soon as he finishes, he sneaks out and disappears. If you do shout, yes, if you do shout out a question at him, he tells you he's not here for that. He did that many times to my reporters. Even Stabrook News had to embarrass him the other day. They did a story showing how he gave them the same response 6 times in 2 years on ExxonMobil audit reports. Hear that? He repeated the same answer 6 times in 2 years on the Exxon audit reports. He said it is still in the final stages and he will get back to them when he knows more. Oh, help me in this country, please. As for Bharat Jagdeo, the man in charge of the oil sector, now and again when he holds press conferences, he does not give the media the opportunity to ask the burning questions about the oil sector to which he is heading. And whenever he does answer or get caught in a bind, he blames it on others and direct you to ask the relevant heads or ministers, in which he knows no one will respond. The mining contracts, the audit reports from the oil sector are just 2 classic examples of how he treats me and you. Oh, look how this man treating you and me. The owners of these resources, uncle and auntie. As for Ashni Singh, heading the finances of this country, should have at least held an end-of-year press conference to brief this nation as to where we are and where we are heading. That too was missing from our expectations. As for the GRA, who's tasked with auditing the oil, gold, and timber sectors, they too have not held a single press conference throughout 2022 to at least update the citizens as to what are the findings, how and what we are getting out of these sectors. I hope you guys taking note. I hope you guys taking note and see what's happening in this country. As for the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, one of the key players responsible for regulating the oil sector, to safeguard and protect Guyana. Yes, Guyana, the country, and all of us. Like President Ali and the ministers, no press conference was held throughout 2022. And this is the agency that is responsible for making sure that the environment of this country is adequately protected with the deadly chemicals being used in the oil and gold sectors. Wow. That agency is responsible for protecting Guyana with the flaring, protecting Guyana with the dumping of the produced water into the ocean, and secure full liability coverage in all sectors, including the oil. And them didn't hold a press conference for the entire 2022. It's Friday, Uncle, January 6, 2023. Don't you believe that things have to change in this country, man? Don't you believe that they have to do better than this? The choice is yours. Sit on your hands and lose your legs. Or speak up, please. Let me repeat this. There is more than enough for every household in this country to receive no less than $1 million Guyana per month presently. Salaries can triple and massive development can take place in this land if only these leaders come clean, be open, be transparent, and do the right thing. Only then this country and its people will live the life of what the international institutions are saying about this country. Uncle, if this type of hide and seek, run and dodge business continues in 2023, prepare to live the life you're living. You are living presently for a very long time to come. We at the Kaieteur News have been doing our part and commit to continue playing our role. How about you? Where do you stand on this? What will you be about? What are you saying about this? I ask this against the background of those headlines which I did not get to speak about on my programs during my 2 weeks break. Each headline, I will put a simple comment, Uncle. So, you can tell me where you stand and what you think. This is the first headline I am beginning with. High Court Judge stops Schlumberger from operating radioactive storage facility. That's the headline. Radioactive materials, Uncle, are deadly to human. Why would the EPA give approval for such an activity to go on in a residential area? Huh? The EPA should have never approved such an application that can cause harm to its own citizens. Uncle and Auntie, a few people had to go to court had to go to court, find their money to go to court. And the judge, Justice Nareshwar Harnanan, halted the operation and said EPA broke the law when they issued permit to Schlumberger to carry on that hazardous material storage. You hear that? The second headline, Guyana urged to beef up audit capabilities and introduce strong reporting standards to avoid highway robbery. So said an international advisory group on oil and gas. Oh. Now you tell me, uncle, since when an international group has to tell our government to find and put competent people to check the books of ExxonMobil and the other oil players to avoid being robbed? Since when, man? Huh? Since when an international group has to tell President Ali that he must put in place a strong media team to report what's going on in the oil sector on a daily basis? Huh? Those are no-brainers. My grandchildren would know that they have to monitor and scrutinize every single bill that comes their way in a 50-50 partnership business. An international group got to tell Guyana that. And next headline, local content was created for retention of wealth in country, not extraction. Let me repeat that one for you, man. Local content was created for retention of wealth in country, not extraction. So says the president of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Oh, the president of Georgetown Chamber of Commerce said that, uncle. He is urging government to plug the loopholes in the legislation to retain the wealth in Guyana. Now, you tell me this, man. You want to tell me that President Ali and Jagdeo doesn't know that all the services of the oil sector, be it transportation, goods, or other services, should be given to the Guyanese people and Guyanese people alone, man? Huh? And that he should put laws in place to ensure that foreign companies do not get these types of jobs, what Guyanese people can do? Huh? You want to tell me that a Trinidadian company can come here in Guyana and open a taxi service to shuttle the oil people from the airport to the city or anywhere around town, man? No, man. No. No, y'all don't tell me this thing, man. I refuse to believe that. But we local Chamber of Commerce is begging him to plug the loopholes in which a foreigner is getting all the contracts. And instead of the wealth staying with the Guyanese people, the foreigners taking it with them to their countries. This has to be corrected, Mr. President. It's 2023. Don't let these things continue, please. Happy New Year, by the way. I wish both President and Vice President happy holidays. And for the first time, none out of the two of them responded by saying even, "Thank you, Glenn." I didn't want a wish back from them, but at least they could have said, "Thank you, Glenn." Oh, this is Guyana, uncle. This is Guyana, auntie. Our next headline. local insurance fraternity hopes to be more than fronting agencies for ExxonMobil. Again, what these people are saying is that they don't want just their company names to be used, getting a pinch of the insurance business when the hag of the insurance policies is given to foreigners. They want to be a major player in which they can benefit from the oil rather than only the foreign insurance companies. Simple as that. Meaning they don't want to be used, uncle. Local content must be more than just Guyanese companies being used as fronting agencies and middlemen. We must be major players in the industry. We must be given the opportunities to be major participants in the insurance policies. Not being used. Not being used by foreign companies. All this thing going on in this country. I hope you guys retaining what I'm saying here tonight, Government to give Guyanese 2 weeks to pursue and make recommendations on new oil contract. That was another headline during my break. Now tell me, in 2 weeks, Guyanese can pursue an oil contract and able to make contributions to it? Something we know very little about. You think President Ali and Jagdeo really want the Guyanese people input on the new contracts for the new oil blocks with a 2-week span? I don't think so. They have their mind make up as to what contract Guyanese people should live with. And next headline. Puerto Rico file racketeering lawsuit against ExxonMobil and others for deceiving the public on climate change effects. If Exxon can deceive a state within the United States of America and many other places, what do you think them doing to Guyana with the flaring going on out there? They tell you the truth? Them deceiving every one of us. Nothing they tell us is truth. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. You know who really Exxon is? Huh? You're dealing with a set of gangsters that would burn down your house knowingly with your newborn baby inside for their pockets. That's who you're dealing with. They have no morals whatsoever. No decency. Especially if you're not white. Oil sector plagued with gross mismanagement as government allows companies to show disrespect for its own laws. An international lawyer said that. Let me repeat that. Oil sector plagued with gross mismanagement as government allow companies to show disrespect for its laws. The lawyer in that story is saying that the government is siding with ExxonMobil to break all the environmental laws, all for their pockets. Yes, all for their pockets, the oil people pockets. But will prosecute our brothers and sisters for a little mechanic shop if they have one dumping the waste oil in the gutter. You remember they did that to one guy, went to court and the magistrate tell the boy to go ahead. The lawyer is saying they don't have They don't give a damn what becomes of Guyana or its people. This is the people are you staining your finger for? They endangering all of you and future generations. For who? For who? Oh, that's a big question. For who? For themselves and the foreigners, if you don't know for who. Guyana still has numerous opportunities to increase their influence over Exxon spending, despite fatal flaws in the Stabroek Black contract. So said an oil export from Trinidad and Tobago. Let me repeat it. Guyana still got numerous opportunities to increase their influence over Exxon spending, despite all the flaws in the contract we signed. The export is saying Guyana can take charge of every cent Exxon spends out there, despite the bad contract we have, uncle, so that this country can save itself and come out the misery the citizens are living in. Again, you mean to tell me that President Ali and Vice President Jagdeo doesn't know that they have to control the money that are being paid to buy this and to buy that, and the money they're paying on all those contracts, man? No, they have to know. In a partnership business, they have to know that they have to authorize all these contracts. I refuse to believe that they don't know. Exxon can wake up one morning and give to one of their families a $5 million US contract to supply pipes or cement, or a $400 million US to supply chemicals, and Ali and Jagdeo just paint their mouth with glue and stay silent? No, man, no. You want to tell me them FPSO we are paying billions on, Guyana doesn't have a say? You got to be joking, uncle. You got to be joking. A man buying a bicycle that's selling in the store for $50,000 and hand you a bill for $1 million. Now tell me, man, which donkey run a business like this? That is actually what the Trinidadian export is telling Guyana to do. Take stock and be part of the expenses ExxonMobil is throwing at us. I have said this thing in so many different languages, so many times on these programs. But I'm just repeating what international oil exports are seeing that's happening in this country, and they're repeating it. Then another story said, 3 international consultants submit bids to review ExxonMobil's 5th project plan, which they say going to cost over $10 billion US. When I see that headline, I wanted to do a program right away on it. 3 international consultants submit bids to review the 5th project Jagdeo is going to approve. Or I don't know if he don't approve it. Jagdeo hiring people, nincompoops, pay them hundreds of millions in US dollars to review these projects. And what Guyana gets out of it? Absolutely nothing. What are they finding? What are they preventing? Absolutely nothing. So why hire these people? Pay them fat US dollars when we just have to accept whatever Exxon throws at us. Huh? The Payara 9 billion, along with the Yellowtail 10 billion. Where is Guyana? Are we any way richer with those reviews and audits? Jagdev did? No way. No way. But we paid hundreds of millions of US to carry out them reviews. Both reports on Payara and Yellowtail. Guyana still waiting to see from Jagdeo what the people did. If Guyana get value for money, and whose side they really work for. Just in case this is over your head, uncle, let me put it in a nutshell. Every project out there that costs them 8, 10, and 12 billion US dollar, Guyana is supposed to hire international experts with the know-how to come, review, and check them to see how much we are being ripped off. Instead, Jagdev bring an incompetent person. People who never review these size of projects before to look out for Guyana. Could you believe that? And guess what? Even hire one of Exxon's client to look out for Guyana. Yes. Alison Redford, the lady name, I remember her, the Canadian woman? Yes. She was a client of ExxonMobil. Jagdev bring her here to review the 10 plus 19 billion. Almost 6-7 years of Guyana budget. What did she find? What did she save Guyana? Absolutely nothing. So we didn't see the reports until now. Jagdev is hiding that report under somebody's skirt because we can't see it until now. You want to hear another piece for that? The money we pay her and the money we're paying these people to audit and review these projects is borrow money we're paying interest on. This is how you run a country. This is how Jagdev and President Ali running this $1 trillion oil sector. This is how they're going to uplift the Guyanese people, me and you. Let's move on. I want you people to know that most of these things I would have talked about on several programs before. This is not something lightly that we should take lightly. These are things must be in the open. This is not a 7-day wonder. These are billions of American dollars that has to come out of our oil. And if we don't correct, if we don't fix, if we don't put a stop or do it correctly, not a single cent the Guyanese people will get out of the oil. Let's go to another story we did on December 28th. Guyana now hurrying to modernize waste management laws as oil sector moves at breakneck speed. Wow. This is like putting the cart before the wheel. We pump in oil 3 years now. And Jagdev had said 2 years ago that we have a cradle-to-grave waste management system put in place. Yes. The deadly oil chemical waste and all the other waste from the rigs and the frigs are being dumped all over since 2019. And now these people are telling them, yes, that they're going to modernize the laws and systems for this. Ask them where they will get the money from to modernize the waste facilities, uncle. They can't modernize the electricity sector or modernize the water industry 56 years now. Them going to find money for take care of Exxon mess. Yes. Way to run a country, man. Way to run a country. Hear this next story. Report flags government's grip on oil regulatory state agencies. Report flags government's grip on oil regulatory state agencies. A report conducted by an international group in Guyana last year said the government manipulating and taking control of the state agencies, especially those responsible for the management of the oil and gas sector, by giving them instructions to fast track and facilitate approvals, breaking our own laws and regulations. You hear that, guys? So the public servants who are supposed to be doing the right thing to safeguard Guyana are being overrun or overruled by the government. How on earth can this country run? Can this country run an oil industry like this to benefit the people of this country, man? Huh? Can you guys tell me? Now let me share this last story with you and then take 3 or 4 telephone calls. I don't know if you guys hearing my voice or notice anything funny about me. I didn't come to work today to do a program tonight because I got a fever and fresh cold. And I got it 3 days now. But knowing how you people depend on the information I give on this program, I have decided to do a short program. I also believe doing these programs will ease the cold and fever faster. So here we go. On December 20th, Guyana celebrated 3 years since becoming an oil-producing country. Today, all the international business and financial institutions, the IMF, the IDB, the World Bank, is just a few of them, who have said that Guyana is the fastest growing economy in the world per capita basis. Meaning, uncle, the amount of oil being pumped up daily puts Guyanese, man, woman, and child, as the richest people on earth today. But is that so? No. You guys get anything, feeling anything, smelling anything, or eating anything? I have shared this information and talked about it on many of my programs before. Yes. This is so. This is so correct. What those institutions is talking about. What they're basing their conclusions on, uncle, is the amount of oil being pumped and leaving this country. That's why they can say we're the fastest growing economy. It is correct on pen and paper. What they don't know is that the oil going out, yes. But 99% of the oil money that is going out, yes. The money is not sitting in the hands of the Guyanese people. We are just getting the crumbs, uncle. And crumbs can't make us the richest people on earth. Only the oil that is leaving the shores, making the country the richest on earth, not the people. Let me give you guys a classic example. Listen this carefully. I did a TikTok for it. Listen to me carefully and I'm gone for Friday. Ghana, I have said, is a beautiful country with a direct flight from here. Man, in 4 hours you can land in the capital city called Accra. I've been there and stayed at one of the best hotels I ever stayed in. Even better than Europe. When you talk about food, food galore. Listen it carefully now. Them started pumping oil, uncle. Yes, auntie. Ghana started pumping oil in 2010. And in 2019, 9 years after, they were dubbed, they were labeled as the fastest growing economy in the world. They were even praised for the steps the government took to manage and regulate their oil sector. Uncle, Ghana had ring fencing provisions in place. They decided what money has to come out as cleanup costs. The government also decided what should be deducted as expenses, such as project costs, interest rates, cost on all projects and the drilling of those wells. Ghana had insurance coverage to protect the country from an oil spill or any oil spill. Most importantly, Ghana Oil Contract gives them 12.5% in royalties plus profit share. I don't have to repeat that. I think I was very clear. Today, uncle, today, 2023, 3 years after being labeled in 2019 as the fastest growing economy in the world, the whole country is drowning in debt with a population of 32 million people. Are you hearing what I said there just now? Today, 12 years after pumping oil and 9 years after labeled the fastest growing country on earth, is drowning in debt. Hear what one of Ghana's government ministers said 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Ghana is today faced with major economic and financial crisis. The loans they took from here, there, and everywhere, they just announced they can't meet the repayment schedule. You didn't hear what I said there, man. Ghana, with all the rules, regulations, laws, and systems in place to govern the oil sector in that country, getting 12.5% royalties with profit share, bankrupt as we speak. I should say bankrupt as I speak. Unless you're talking to yourself there. Yes, they're bankrupt. I think I shared a story how they're stopping taxi drivers and demanding to see their tax certificates. I shared a story with you guys already. That's how bad Ghana is today. I did tell y'all too, how the Chinese fetching out their gold. And the government put soldiers to run them out of the country. But the Chinese turned citizens of Ghana. So the soldiers can only run in the day and stop them. But when the soldiers back turn in the day, the Chinese digging out the gold as fast as they can in the nights. Yes. Chinese working night and day in Ghana. Let's continue. Where is our country, Guyana, today? We are being dubbed as the fastest growing economy on earth. Without any proper management, regulations, rules and laws in our oil sector. How you like that one, Josh? Namaste, uncle. Namaste, auntie. We have outdated laws, no rules, no regulations, and almost non-existent insurance arrangement. No ring fencing provision in place, and most of all, no sense of direction where we are going with those billions upon billions of US dollar project costs, along with the interest rates we are paying on more than 50 billion US dollar already invested out there. We have no sense of direction where we're going. These are the kind of questions I want to confront President Ali and Bharat Jagdeo. Not Vikram Bharat. He's a good kid. He doesn't know much. I want to confront Bharat Jagdeo. I am willing to pay him if he can come back on this radio program. I have some beautiful questions for him. Wow. We have no say on how much money coming out as cleanup costs. And guess what? Trotman and Jagdeo has settled for less than 2%. Listen to me carefully. Trotman and Jagdeo has settled for less than 2% royalty with a messed up profit sharing arrangement. Now you tell me, uncle and auntie, where do you think Guyana, yes, this beautiful country that called Guyana, would end up? Better than Ghana, right? Ghana has everything in place with 12.5% royalty and bankrupt as I speak. 12 years after pumping oil. Oh gosh, I feel the fever, the cold going away. I'm going to stay on. I'm going to stay on, uncle. I'm going to stay on. Guyana with not even a matchbox in place. Can somebody shout and tell me where this country is heading? You can shout it from your bedroom or your sitting room. Through the radio, I will hear you. Or you can call me after the program and let's gaff. Remember, I tell you guys I'm only taking a few phone calls today, right? My throat. Oh, the fever is going away though. Norway pumping oil 53 years now, Joshua. Started off pumping the same amount Lisa Wan pumping presently, 120,000 barrels a day. Uncle and auntie, today they are not only one of the richest countries on earth, but they have become a lending institution. They have made so much money that them can pay countries for keep their forest intact to preserve the world. so that we can breathe and live a healthy life. Guyana is one of the countries they've been. Remember a few years ago, they gave Guyana 250 million US. We didn't collect all the money yet though. We're collecting it in tranches. We collected maybe 50, 60 million so far. Not certain. That's how proper governments with honest and decent leaders manage their country's assets. You think, Joshua, if those leaders were corrupt the way ours are, Guyana would I get 250 million FRICO? Huh? US FRICO? Here's the sweetest part of all that I just said, Joshua. Our Vice President Jagdeo been to Ghana and met with the same president that put Ghana where it is today. He went so far to invite, yes, the man to come to Guyana. And he came here with an entourage. What they discussed and what came out of that meeting, none of us knew. Jagdeo didn't say nothing. Hear that? Jagdeo didn't say, man, let me go to Norway and meet with the Norwegian leader. Or invite the Norwegian leader here to put Guyana or to make Guyana like Norway. He went to Ghana, uncle. Ghana. The country that run bankrupt. A set of corrupt politicians that run those places. One of the projects that helped Ghana or put Ghana where it is today is the Gas to Shore project. The same Gas to Shore project what Jagdeo pushing down we through here. Yes. In which they say going to cut electricity costs and give people a better life. The same thing the Ghana government tell its people. How them Gas to Shore project going to cut electricity in half and give the people and take the people out of poverty. Today they're bankrupt. You don't want to hear that story. That story needs 3 programs alone. How the minister get his friend, involve his friend, pay his friend secretly for build the plant. And you don't want to hear how much billions that he found. That is the only thing Guyana and Ghana got in common. Yes. Both of them didn't do a study to see whether the gas plant going to be good for the country or going to rotten the country. Jagdeo doing the same thing here with the Wales gas plant. You know who benefited from the gas plant in Ghana, uncle? Like I said, the ministers and his friends. And of course, the oil companies. I tell you already, they were losing 250 million US a year on that Gas to Shore project. They used to produce electricity and had to throw it away with the amount of gas they were buying. They were forced to buy that because that's what the government signed on to. Yes. The oil company, the ministers, and who knows, maybe the president was collecting the hag of the money. Wait, watch and see. Is the exact model Jagdeo is creating here. The project under the coalition, that same Wales project under the coalition was never going to pass 700 million US Today, they're 3 times. That's 700 million. 2 point something billion American dollars. This afternoon I sit down and in my head I'm going through, doing a little maths. 10% interest rate on 2 billion US dollars, uncle, is 200 million US a year. It can give Guyana electricity with no problem. No headache. 2 years is 400 million interest. 2 year, 2 billion is 400 million US interest. That money can buy or put in solar for life in this country. And all of you can get electricity free. Free. All you got to pay is little maintenance costs. And Jagdeo going to pay 200 million US interest alone on an uncertain project. That's the interest alone, you know. Not the $2 billion premium. Oh. By the time these intellectuals done with Guyana and our future, our children will have to resort to flambeau and become slaves all over again because they will be drowning in so much debts. The countries who you borrow the money from will walk in and take your land. Yes, your property, your wife plus your children. And your uncle and auntie will become slaves, maids and cooks all over again. Go and see how they're living in Ghana. $1 and $2 US a day they're working for. A granny was pounding beer cassava to make fufu. Yes, and when I asked her where they planting, she said no have. And they got GRA. Them officers stopping and demand tax certificates to confirm whether they pay taxes. The same country that the world said was the fastest growing economy on earth have millions upon millions of people hungry. Hungry today. Mark my words, uncle and auntie. If that gas to shore project don't stop, you will be staring at another white elephant, worse than the Skeldon plant, in which our children will be saddled with that burden of 2 billion debt added to the Skeldon plant and the airport. You remember the airport, 160 billion, already 70 billion US don't spend there? I don't know if we pay any interest rate yet, but they say how they're going to be profitable. How they're eyeing flights out of Africa and how it will make enough money to pay back itself. Oh boy. Joshua, yes, I doubt whether you people can absorb all this information I give you guys there, you know. I doubt it. You know, sometimes me and my staff gets overwhelmed and bogged down at times presenting these stories to Guyana on a daily basis. You know? You know, if I am to ask you guys, uncle and auntie, to tell me what you have grasped on this tonight's program, I am pretty much certain that half of you can't remember half of what I said. And because of this, because of that, your government, one after the other, takes advantage of that. A matter of fact, Jagdeo himself one day said, Guyana is a 7-day wonder. I am the only person who tells Jagdeo many times, it may be a 7-day wonder for the Guyanese people, but not for Glenlal and his crew or his team at the Kaieteur News. Oh, Guyana is a 7-day wonder. Ah, wow. Thank you, Father, for giving me this brain. There's a quote in one of the religious books that says, "For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but the spirit of power, of love, and that of a sound mind." I don't know if I say it right, Joshua, but that is what Glenn has and his staff.
Yep.
I see, before I end, I got more time, Joshua?
If you wish, yeah.
Before I end, let me see this. I saw President Ali all worked up on a TikTok, fighting over a couple homes. Yes, squatters built on the reserve in Moko, where the Eccles Diamond Highway has to pass. In the first place, those people were not supposed to be there. No one is allowed to squat on government reserves. Had both governments enforced the laws of this country, no one could have gone on state land without permission. And I maintain that. But it is what it is. Today, President Ali is saying he wants to remove them and offering them homes elsewhere. So what's the big deal, Josh?
Yeah.
Huh? You have to remove and the man giving you a home elsewhere
Yeah.
to have our highway run. What's the big deal? Lo and behold, the opposition leader Norton, I am told, went there to lend support to the squatters to score points. Man, Josh, if a president is willing to build back a home, to remove the people to build the highway, then what's this big fuss about, man? Huh?
True.
The same Norton knows that it is wrong for anyone to build on government reserves. My gosh. Uncle and Auntie, that is not my contention. That is not what upsets me. What upsets me is if Norton and President Ali bring out that same energy and fight within them, the same way they're dealing with this issue on the oil sector, then those people need not worry. Mansions could have been built across this country in gated communities, not only for those couple people, but for every citizen that is living on government reserves in them shacks across this country. You hear me, Josh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. I also say this, Uncle and Auntie, if the same zest and zeal in those homeowners hits the streets on the oil deal, yes, that have them living in that misery, oh man, they themselves would have removed from that reserve piece of land them go and build their homes with. Yes. They themselves would have removed and go and build homes. Build mansions with the money that would have been flowing into their pockets.
Yeah.
But this is Guyana.
Beautiful guy.
Beautiful Guyana, thank you. It is what it is. Yes, it is what it is. I'm not going to say more. With that, I say namaste. And remember, I love you all. Thanks for listening.